You know we rap
Queensbridge, and that's how it is. If I can't get you, I'ma bring it to your kids, your moms, whatever it takes to strike back. I'll be waiting in your crib with a Mac. Black gloves, no mask, so you can see my face and realize QB ain't playing no games. We think long range, so we can ride for the kids.
Maximilian must know. We're going to be looking at a scent today from the House of Santa Maria Novella, and what's a little different here is that I did a full review on their soaps in a grooming episode, but we haven't talked about their fragrances at all. So we're going to buck that trend today and talk about a fragrance from the house called Nostalgia. Now, normally I would say that if you want to know more about the history of this house, check out the video that I did on their soaps. But because this is such an old house with such a rich history, and from where my roots are, Italy, I'm 3/4 Italian, a lot of mainland Italians I'm Sicilian, consider Sicilians to be vengeful barbarians, but that is a different video for a different time. But anyway, my point is, we'll go through the history of this house very briefly. So, the first Santa Maria Novella location opened up in Florence, Italy in 1612, but the history actually goes back to 1221, when Dominican friars would make herbal remedies and potions in their monastery. And they had a pharmacy there for all sorts of conditions where they would prescribe their creations. And the Grand Duke of Tuscany found out about it, and I guess used some of their products and sponsored them and funded them so that they could make these products available to the entire town. And that's how the first location eventually came to be. They make the claim that they created the first eau de cologne in the 1500s when they made a water for the queen, which was bergamot and citrus scented. Now, I'm not going to get into who did it first, but a lot of different houses do stake that claim. But supposedly here, an Italian gentleman, Giovanni Femini, took some with him when he moved to Cologne and made his own there because he was unable to get it. And evidently Santa Maria Novella still makes the original eau de cologne and sell it. It's simply called Santa Maria Novella, and it is their most popular scent. And they take real care in their products to make them in the traditional styles that were passed down from generation to generation, from their potpourri, which is handcrafted in terracotta with local plants and flowers, to their amazing soaps made with whole milk and dry aged and hand wrapped in caves. And they've introduced some new products under the guidance of their current owner, Eugenio Alfandari. They have a line for cats and dogs. They have wonderful shaving products. But the caveat is that nothing is really cheap within this house. You're going to pay for that quality. In my mind, it's well worth it. It's also not totally unreasonable. Most of their grooming products range between $20 to $100. As I said, everything is handmade and made with the utmost quality. I cannot stress that enough to you guys. And they happen to have a New York location on Lafayette near Prince Street, actually sort of on the other side of where Min is. Min is on Crosby, and they're on Lafayette, sort of right across from the Supreme Skate Shop. And they sell some other Italian products as well. They have the full lines of Eau de Italy, and I'll have a review on one of their fragrances shortly. As well, they also stock fragrances from the house of Lorenzo Villarici, who's a genius perfume with some good scents, including the quite popular Piper Nigrum. And in fact, when Gucci did their newest boutique scent, Museo, they commissioned Villarici to create it. Villarici has also been very good to me as a reviewer, so the plan is to review one or two of his scents this year. I've sampled the entire line, and I was really blown away by it. But Santa Maria Novella does their own fragrances as well. A lot are sort of one-note fragrances, or at least named after one note, like Fieno, which is a hay fragrance. They have an iris fragrance, a magnolia, an opopanax, a patchouli, a sandolo. They have a tobacco Toscano, and they make some more modern blends a bit in contrast to the older style scents. They did an Alba de Sol recently, which is a piney, woody scent that was done with Seoul, Korea as inspiration. The older, more classic scents are definitely worth checking out. They have a Cuban scent that is a tobacco powerhouse, but the criticisms is that some make is that the older fragrances tend to be very soapy. And some certainly are, but I look at them as just very incredible pieces of art. I think no more than the fragrance we're talking about today, which is one of their newest offerings called Nostalgia. And the inspiration behind Nostalgia is an Italian race car. Come on, how fucking cool is that? So let's talk about notes on Nostalgia. Notes on this fragrance are bergamot, rubber, and styrax at top, cedar and patchouli in the middle, leather, amber, vanilla, and birch tar in the base. This guy is going to retail for about $120. That's what I paid for it. It comes in one size, 100 ml, and it is an eau de cologne. Now, as far as your box goes, It's sort of a nice cardboard. It says nostalgia. It's got dots around it. It says Aficionado Parfumo Farmaceutica de Santa Maria Novella Casa Fondata 1612 Firenze. And that's basically it. You've got some information on the bottom, stamped batch code, and that's the whole package, the box. Now, your bottle is a bit bizarre. The older Santa Maria Novella bottles sort of come in these beautiful apothecary-style bottles. I think they're just gorgeous. I really like them. Not so fond of this. This has a sticker on it that sort of shows a racing car. It looks like a kid would do it on a printer at home. It says the same thing here. There's really nothing else. You've got the sticker with the handwritten batch code. You've got a fake wooden cap, which is a little embarrassing to me for a company that's so into presentation and just doing everything really with a lot of class. It does have a good atomizer. It's not great. Now, most Santa Maria Novella fragrances are splashes, and when you go to the store, you really have to ask them for an atomizer, or you won't get it. And so I did ask them for one. I guess they didn't know that this already had an atomizer attached, so I have an extra atomizer. But basically, I really don't like this presentation. I think they really dropped the ball here, which is really disappointing. But we'll talk about that later when we score this. But the first thing that I think about when I'm smelling this fragrance is, honestly, I think of being around a mechanic or being in a garage, and I know that doesn't sound pleasant, but it very much is. Comme des Garçons did a fragrance called Garage in 2004 as part of a synthetic series, and I was lucky enough to get to smell that one, and another one they did called Tar. And I think where they failed, Santa Maria Novella passed. Garage was not, in my opinion, a wearable fragrance. It was more like an exhibition. It didn't sit well on skin, and this is very wearable. It might not seem that way at first. Atop this is a leather, gasoline, and rubber bomb. It's just unbelievable. It's very hardcore. People are going to go, whoa, when they first smell this. But as it dries down, which takes about 20 to 30 minutes, maybe an hour actually, it opens up quite a bit. And you start to get a little citrus, you start to get vanilla and amber, and it sort of turns from something very strange to something quite familiar. And what I think is just so cool about nostalgia is the beautiful contrast. The way it starts off industrial and synthetic and just gradually becomes something organic and earthy. Almost soil-like vanilla and amber smell. This is probably the most original fragrance that I've come across. There's just nothing out there like this. Naturally, there have been comparisons made between this and Bulgari's Black, which has a rubber note, a very prominent rubber note. And that's a very good and interesting fragrance. A very good fragrance. I actually have it here. I'm sure many of you guys have seen it. It's the hockey puck. And I really, really like Black. I think Black should be in everyone's collection. And if I did a top 100 designer list like Mark did, that would be up on that list as well. But with that said, these are very different fragrances. Black is sort of like a toe dip into something different and unfamiliar. And nostalgia is like a Rodney Dangerfield back to school triple Lindy dive into the unfamiliar. I don't think this is a scent for everybody. I think this is one of the very few scents out there that women should stay away from. You know, maybe Marissa Tomei and My Cousin Vinny and Mechanic chicks can pull this off, but this is very masculine. I think it can work all 4 seasons. It might actually do its best on cooler spring and summer nights. You can really set yourself apart with this fragrance. I don't think it's a great work scent. I think it's a great scent to wear when hanging out. And believe it or not, because this is so masculine and sort of exudes testosterone, this would probably be a very good date night sexual fragrance, to be honest with you. There are women that just love the smell of sort of manly things, and this is up that alley. And longevity is very nice on this. Projection is a bit lacking. You get a nice little scent bubble. It doesn't project too far. I wish it jumped off my skin a bit more, but it doesn't, and that may be due to the fact that it is an eau de cologne. As far as rating this guy goes, I really like this. I really do. I wish the opening lasted a bit longer, as I feel like that's where the scent shines and is unique. As I said, guys, I'm not a fan of this presentation at all. I can't tell you how much I wish they had used the original Santa Maria Novella packaging, which I'll put a little clip here so you could see what those bottles look like. It just looks very apothecary-esque and classier. It seems like they tried to modernize this fragrance, but the name of it is nostalgia. And modern isn't really what Santa Maria Novella does. I also think the cheap plastic cap feels very out of place with this. And As I said, I wish it projected a bit better, but I have no complaints in regards to longevity. This is original as original can be. This is a clear 7 out of 10 for me. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I was going to give it a 6, to be honest with you, but the wow factor that this fragrance has is sort of the X factor that pushes it up a notch. If the presentation was redone and this was released as an EDP or an EDT, this could easily be a 9 out of 10 for me. Very, very easily. It's just that original and well done. I'm begging you guys to please check this one out. I'm trying to get Adrian at Decant Shop to carry this so you guys could buy samples of it, because it's so fucking good and it's so unique. And it's just, you know, this is the thing with fragrances that, you know, I don't know if any of you guys ever get fatigued where you're like, oh, I just feel like everything I'm smelling is the same. That happens, right? That happens to all of us. But this is the sort of thing where you smell and you go, fuck, this is why I really like doing this. I get it. I totally remember now why I love this hobby. It's just so crazy that you could see 100 bottles lined up there on the shelves and they all smell so completely different. And that's just what I love. And then you come to something like this and you've just never come across anything else like it out there. And it just really makes you sort of fall back in love with perfumery and this art. And I really think everyone, I mean this, who collects should have this in their collection. But that's just my pitch or whatever. I'm obviously not getting a dime from Santa Maria Novella, but this is a stunner. It's a fucking stunner. I just wish it lasted longer. And because let's be honest, this is bullshit, right? We all know that. I mean, what the fuck? Seriously, you're gonna put this next to a Xerjoff bottle or an Amouage bottle? I mean, come on. Anyway, that is this week's episode of Maximilian Must Know. I'll see you guys next week with 2 episodes. This is how we do, all day, every day. You already know what it is. Please don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the rebound.
You can have a dirty deep entourage. You can have guns galore, shanks and more. We can bang to the EMS come and haul us off. I could give a fuck what projects you ride for. We got dogs out there, we not scared, nigga. I'm not the one, we not the team. Matter of fact, don't even write me back.